Here are the Xenoxis, and this is the Xenoxis show for the 6th of August 2025. We are continuing. I've gone ahead quite a lot there, as you can see. The time there, and stuff there, so yeah. Last time, so yeah. I also managed to skip one of the bosses, but I went back and fought it later. I didn't fight it after Mount Burr Omnis again. I don't remember if the boss actually disappears if you would go into Mount Burr Omnis again, because you can see I've already been to Steel Shrine of Miriam, even though that's where we need to go. And I've also been to the Feywood here, as you can see, for example, and you can go to the Hennes Mine there, but that's part of Hennes Mine. It's really dangerous. I've also gone into, for example, from there, I managed to go all the way around. I found a save station there, and there's the Paramina Rift, and that's where Mount Burr Omniscience is, and then there's the Station of Miriam, which is where we need to go to, and stuff like that. So yeah, now one thing though, is for example, I've gotten the Murasim for Van. They can't use it yet because he doesn't have license. I think I cannot use the damage shield there yet because I don't have the license for it. So one needs to go over here. He needs to get the demo tray there for the Murasamen. Yeah, so yeah, that is something on Altair. We need to be this, and we need to get this for 50 here. We need to get this for 60, and then we need to go over here so we can get the shields 4 basically. So we can use Diamond Shield, Platinum Shield, and eventually Dragon Shield as well, because, yeah. I do have a Platinum Shield though, only one Platinum Shield though, which I have on her. Because I also managed to get one Close Helm, for example, because I had that being a drop. So that she also has a higher tier crossbow. And as you can see, we also managed to defeat the dragon here, what is it? Not the Balzac. Yeah, Ringworm defeated. And that's a rank 3, by the way. And here's the thing, this thing here is a rank 5, so I did manage to get this thing low. But I think I could have defeated it if I would have been ready with the mist, because it seems like it goes into Berserk that cannot be dispelled, because it kind of glows red or something like that, which I'm thinking is the Berserk status when it gets low and stuff that, So that is something and stuff that, but there's a lot of hunts now that I have access to now. Sorbet was a bit annoying, by the way, because Sorbet, or the White Moose, rather. So the White Moose basically, it's cast like Aquara when it gets really, really low and stuff that. And yeah, and actually using fire on it is actually very good. So I actually ended up using like the ice shield and stuff that, even on the hash, I switched to actually using like flame tongue specifically for that fight and stuff that. So I kept some of the weapons because you can actually in combat actually change the weapons that they have equipped. Sledgehammer is pretty good. He managed to actually get that for free. I didn't have to actually get that, so I have a window here, this window basically and stuff that where we can get Ice Brand, which I've had before and stuff that. So you can get Mirasem here, 6 Foot Pole, Sledgehammer, Gladius, which is of course a dagger, Thorn Mace, Glacial Staff, and then there's Stone Staff after that. You get Headband, so you receive one of those for free actually for one of the quests. And there's the damage shield as well. So yeah. Half damage from ice actually, from the Lamias Tiara is actually pretty nice. Oh. Yeah, we have one of the cheaper Forgotten Grimoires there available as well, so yes. And then there's also here you have what do you call it? You have some more. So Bolan's has Immune to Confuse, which is actually pretty simple. So actually, let's get that. I got the ring. Let's get that as well. No. I'm getting these, even though we don't need them technically. It's good to have just one of each. But then I've gotten all the spells here and stuff that, so we have access to Kuraga now and stuff that, yeah. Now one thing I thought about is Libra has to be a status, right? Shouldn't it technically be a status effect, the Libra thing? Because I find it to be very odd, like why isn't that like a status effect and stuff that, like why isn't Libra an actual like status effect? Because the thing that I would have like basically is like faux Annie and then like what faux Annie and then Libra. Alright, yeah. Nah, okay, actually that's how I need to do it. So is Libra status here? No, it's not. Self. No. Libra is not a status there unless there's something very, very much missing. So ally status, yeah. You would imagine that they would have it used. So ally Annie. Libra. No. Okay, self then. It needs to be self. Most likely self. And there's no self Annie there, there's yourself. Self. Libra. But the question is, does will he cast it every time for an encounter? So this is how I have it set up here: Kyoraga, Kiora, Cure, and then Raise, and then Vox for Silence, Poison, Blind, Stone. But then basically it will check for all of these statuses first. But then if that status is not one of them, for example, like then I will use Asuna instead, because Asuna is of course more expensive. But then of course the question is, right, if they have both Silence, Poison, Blind, and several, then then it can end up being more expensive than just casting Asuna. So then the question is like, how would I set up that? Would I have like ally, or would I have like self, if I have less than this amount of MP, then I cast this, for example, you know. Or could it be like several statuses? Could it be like, would it be a way to set up like several statuses and stuff that, or would I specifically, you know, need to be like, because basically you would have to have a gambit that could be several statuses in one, I feel like, is what you would need to have actually. And yeah, now I have all the tier 2 spells here, except for of course those stuff. Let me check the Black Mage board actually. Because so here you have by Blind Gal, Aeroga, okej, Silencega, Fyraga Tundaga, Lysaga Slipga, Shock Toxify, Scourge Flare, Scathe. So there is an Aeroga, but there is no water spell. So is water not a regular black magic spell? Vad blir Starfyra? Och Aqua is there. Aqua is a black magic spell level 3. So there is no hand bombs. Oh, I can get steel. Right, so I said how steel is not a thing on certain people's grid, but that's of course because she learns it from one and stuff that, like, not everyone will have access to it. Yeah. You'd also get access to some green magic, of course, obviously. So that's green magic 3. There's green magic 2. Green magic 1 there. Decoin oil. Bubble and Siphon. Green Medic 2 Drain and Reverse, okay. Channeling is there, Medic Law. There's a lot of help there. There's Telekinesis. Just a really, really good thing if we can get to that. Okay, good. And by the way, this place, right, I'm pretty certain I will go back there anyway. Hopefully this isn't one of those places that gets destroyed. Because there's actually a few places like that that actually gets destroyed. So will he keep spamming Libra now? He's attacking now actually. So maybe it does work in a good way. We will see if he will try to cast Libra in the next encounter. He won't, okay. So it's smart enough to understand that okay, I already have Libra. And of course he has Vaughn has Libra all the time because he's using Bangle and stuff that's here. Yeah, we have 2 golden amulets of course, and we only have 1 embroidered tippet. Which means that she's gonna go to court over level over everything else, but yeah. And keep in mind, killing the stuff here is actually very, very good to do, by the way, and stuff that's, yeah. And she's getting Tundara, of course, because, yeah, Tundara is very good. Yeah, she is Suna there on the confused target. Because there is no... actually, let me check here. White Mage... Cure Blindna, Vox Poison, Protect Shell, Cure Raise, Dispel Stona, Cure again, Cleanse Suna, Bravery Kuraya, Confused Fate, Dispelga, Arise, Protectga, Shellga, 12 there, and then of course Holy and Esunaga to basically Suna on everyone, which is probably going to be expensive. This is Libra, okay. Renew is over there. Okay. I got Belias there and stuff that on her on the other board, on the night board specifically. And stuff that, and that allowed me to get a potion lord there. So, you know, Battle Lord is there, 250 HP. I don't know how you're meant to get to those, or if it has to do with other specific character getting things. So, yeah. And you can actually go into a safe zone, by the way, like something like that has the crystal there, for example. Except as long as you don't touch the crystal, you can continue on your like combo and stuff that, you know. But yeah, if you don't care about the combo, you can use, you know, kill everything and stuff. But yeah. You know, I always like a good snowy place and stuff like that. But for some reason I feel like she has more armor now than she had before. Maybe this was the default look colors and stuff like that, because yeah. Because that is something, of course, that imagine, right, if they would have looked different depending on like what armor they have and stuff like that, you know. Stuff that which I can understand like from a whole, if you go from an MMO perspective, like maybe that should be an option, right, and stuff there to have it so that, oh, hey, I want the characters to look right. And it's gonna Libra now. Oh. Jesus, Libra still up. Yeah, Libra is still up. He's the biggest affected by Libra. It's level 37 now, yeah, she's gonna go on ahead. Right, so we need Ball needs to get Bleed for 70, and Bosch needs to get what's it again? No, not Bosch. Balfear needs to get he needs to get this for 50, 60. So since it's 50 plus 60, so it's not 60 plus 60, so it's not 120, so it's going to be 110. Then instead, so 110 first. 110, so 120, 130, 140. So once he has 140, I can get everything. So yeah, and I'm using, of course, the golden hammer at bottom portion on the open hash. Now you might say, oh, you never need to get like several golden hamlets and stuff. Like you don't need to have it on all 3 characters. Because yeah, not having the guest characters is a bit annoying because there's a lot more work for a single character. Because this is the only one that currently casts But technically Fran also has spells. Fran also has some spells I can cast. I cannot cast Kuraga yet with her though. So I need to get her to also get some... I need her to actually get more gambits, because the gambits are of course very, very important to get on the board and stuff like that, you know, because yeah. Now, I don't remember on the PS2 version, I actually ended up, PS2 version, back in the day, I ended up not using gambits at all. And stuff like that, and I don't remember if it was because I didn't understand the gambits or because it just felt overwhelming, because it felt like, oh, this is like too complicated or whatever, right? But the gambit system is pretty simple, and there are some like interesting things you can set up with gambits, because they can react faster than you could to certain things, and also things where it's very, very easy to be overwhelming. But then of course you also need to fine-tune the things, like if you want to like optimize things as much as possible, that's where you can go crazy with gambits, you know, and stuff like that. And there are some people that are not very good at setting up the gambits right. There are certain people that have very ineffective gambits so that they overheal, for example. So every time, for example, like I don't know if this HP, for example, here is going to be low enough for Kurage. 40% is low enough for it not to overheal. Because like Cure almost hits 4,000 now already and stuff like that, you know. And that will of course also be dependent on, for example, like okay, like do I get more magic lore with her, for example, like there's a lot of battle lore over there, of course, yeah. And there's Headsman, Adrenaline, Soul Eater, Last Stand. This is okay. You know what? Let's get more battle lore here, but because yeah, the battle lore is always important and stuff like that. Because yeah, now I forgot. Did the original trees have the battle lore? Because I forgot exactly how it worked on the original trees, because if I remember correctly, yes, I do remember the HP stuff did exist. But I'm uncertain how the battle lore worked exactly, because of course with the reason, actually, the funny reason that they did the stuff that they did, by the way, the reason why they did some of the stuff was actually because of the fact that when players played the PS2 original, for example, and stuff, that the dev wasn't happy with how everyone just made every single character the same and stuff that. But here's the thing, right? That is what's gonna eventually end up happening, right? Because there's no reason for you not to fill out the entire license board, right? So everyone is gonna end up being similar. But here's the thing, right? I can understand, right, if it's used that, oh, everyone used rushes this weapon or whatever, right? Because, you know, because there's like several ultimate quote-unquote weapons, and there's like every single weapon class have their own like quote-unquote ultimate and stuff that, you know, weapons. Certain ultimate weapons, of course, you can get earlier, but I forgot exactly what was the requirement for certain ultimate weapons. If it was either it's a rad drop or it's from a specific hunt, you know. Let's go here. Yes, Libra also allows you to actually see traps and stuff like that as well. Yeah, the only thing that I would say is that you should be able to adjust this overlay to make it more like dim or whatever, right? You know, kind of like how in Diablo 2, like they have the thing. Or at least in the remaster they have it. What was it called? I forgot. I would say it was called Resurrection of Evil, but I don't remember 100%. Yeah, the Bloodsword is actually very good against those enemies, by the way. And actually the Bloodsword is still good, even though the Bloodsword is pretty weak. Because you can see here, for example, that the Bloodsword is only 38 in damage, but it has a sap effect. So yes, it does not do the same thing as in other games, that it gives you like HP back or whatever, right? So I wonder why it decided to do that there and not cast cure at 80% there. There it cast cure there. Okay. But yeah, because you want to find the right, you know, like sometimes it might feel like, oh, you're spamming too much cure and stuff that, but yeah. I forgot if there is an accessory though in this. If it's like in the other game that there is something similar to a 3-star accessory. I mean, 1 MP cost in this I would feel would just be too OP and stuff that, because of the fact that black mages are always powerful, especially like in the tactics game and stuff that, you know. I mean, black mage is also used very, very powerful in Final Fantasy 14 as well and stuff that, you know. So yeah, speaking, you know, black mages tend to be powerful because, of course, that if you're not going to be powerful physically, you know, and stuff that, your spells needs to be really good. But there's also an elemental that we can kill. But the weird thing about the elemental, by the way, the very weird thing that I found about the elemental is the fact that the elemental enemy that you can find here, which is basically like level 25, I think it is only. But the thing that was weird is that, oh, it's supposed to be weak to thunder and stuff that, you know. It's weak to thunder, I believe it is. The thing is though, even though it's weak to thunder, when it got too low health, or for whatever reason at one point, it started just quote-unquote absorbing or basically taking 0 damage even from like thunder and stuff that. And that absolutely made no sense because it hadn't cast shell or anything like that, so I don't get what's up with that, you know, and stuff that. So I had to basically go in on the gambit and then use deactivate the lightning weak and stuff that, you know. Stuff that. And I don't know if that's something that, oh, her magic attack gets weaker because maybe she does have that thing. Maybe she does have that thing learned. One of the abilities, I forgot which one it is. Because I know that there are certain abilities, of course, that do certain specific things. And stuff that, you know. Gain MP after daily magic damage, okay. Ouch. Because I'm trying to think like, okay, gain MP after dealing damage, gain MP after taking damage. Because I'm thinking that, oh, maybe there is something where, oh, as long as my HP is full, I do more magic damage or something like that, you know. That could definitely be the case somewhere, you know. If I have a thing like that somewhere, maybe. It's managed there. An MP after defeating foe, that's going to be very important actually to get. Yeah. We can almost learn that first. Yeah, we don't have sheer learned yet though, so we still need to find out what's an ability. Because that I feel like will be really good. And basically on boss we will basically need to do this setup here. We will need to have foe, and then basically fire weak, lightning weak, ice weak, earth weak, water, wind, holy, dark. And not vulnerable specifically. And then have it set here. Basically have it set to be and what do you call it? It doesn't even show up here because I don't have the ability yet, but basically we will need to have that ability then specifically. The share basically. Because yellow is one foe's magic resist. Because then basically if he sees that okay something is weak to a certain magic, then I will use cast. thing on it to make them take even more damage and stuff like that, you know. Which of course would be a nice combination to do. I've always liked snowy mountains, of course, and stuff like that, you know, in games. I don't remember what game made me start liking like snow levels and stuff like that, you know. What game it was specifically, because yeah. What is a phone maze? So the loot here is actually very good. Because yeah, that's gonna actually sell for quite a lot. Phone maze is actually pretty good because it also gives you poison effect. And yeah, one thing though, by the way, is that I would say it's individual, right, for every single weapon, right? Like not all swords have the same of a certain ratio, right? If I remember correctly. So basically, there are sometimes when you can see the character multi-attack, like sometimes you swing once, sometimes you swing several times. And you might think, oh, that has to do with speed stat, but it has nothing to do with speed. I forgot exactly what the formula is. But supposedly, it's supposed to be specific for each weapon type. But I think it's more than just the weapon type, by the way, sometimes. I definitely feel like, for example, like when using the blood sword, it seems like the blood sword specifically does it way more. Stuff that. Lots now methods. Okay, did we go into that area yet? Because we would need to go to that area to get to a certain thing. Actually, let's go to that small place that we can go to. Because if I remember correctly, it was there that I managed to get like a really more high-end loot. So that. Of course, there are probably some of the marks we could do now because we have a lot of like different hunts we could do here. For example, Antlion. But that's a rank 5. Rank 5 on Trickster. Rank 3 on the Nanao. Rank 5. Right, because this is a rank 5, so we want to avoid rank 5s. Right, that's a rank 2. That's a rank 2. That's a rank 3. So we can defeat rank 3s. That's a rank 5. Yeah, so that's why so better, or that's why the white moose was actually annoying. But yeah, the fact is that you can use abuse elements on that fight. But I'm gonna take things safe and actually dispel your haste. So I cannot find out what his health is. Okay, so this is a head blessing. He does seem to have a two-hander. That looks like a rune blade, actually. Do you have a rune blade drop? Or are you a high-level enemy? I'm causing. Yeah, there was a 3 hit there. Yeah, you can see how wildly his different damages. But yeah, but I know a lot of people are saying, oh, the full breaker is weak or whatever as a main. But yeah, I think the reason why, for example, as a main, is because it takes quite a while for you to get better stuff. But yeah, so you start out with Hand Axe, the 9-hammer Broad Axe, Warhammer Slasher, Sledgehammer Hammerhead, and stuff like that. But the thing is, like, I saw that the full break specifically was in videos of like the worst classes or whatever, right? But then they limited to only 1 per series, because I definitely think that if they wanted to be like serious about, you know. Okay, so it's weak to Aqua, apparently. Even though it's not doing a lot of damage. But I definitely feel like there is no weak to physical, right? There is no like... If I awaken, I think weak. Yeah, why couldn't you have like physical weak or something like that? It's magic power highest level. Okay, and you drop how much? Okay, you drop 1,262 and you gave us 11 license points, so that's 22 license points immediately. Okay, so Altair can get this now. And then I need to have 60. One needs 70 for that, okay. So I can get more battle ores. Here we have some magic ores. Is that a magic ore? No. So look at that. Okay. Oh, so still using Fall Breaker. Actually, I really want to save up to that battle order because that's going to be important to some things. I just get that one. That's one is the cheap one. 30k. More gambit slots. I'm pretty certain that must have been a rare hunt though. Okay, that's that just. Yeah, it's gonna be a rare hunt, most likely. Unshag Dula Hand that has skewed its blood brand. So. Yeah. To. Oh, that one is actually a very radical clock. That's a 5-1. That's a 5-1, okay. I forgot if there are like rare games that are like missable, if there are certain locations that you get destroyed and then like basically you can miss. Because that would feel like it would feel like really, really bad if that's the case. If there are missable like rares. Because there is something to get 100% bestiary and stuff that. But I forgot 100% bestiary, does that mean that you have to get all of the amount of kills on stuff, you know? And then have I missed the stuff here in the Barheim passage? Or can I get back there? Because I believe there is a certain hunt that will actually take you back there and stuff there, because yeah. I'm pretty certain Gilgamesh is actually part of a hunt, by the way. Which is when you... I believe it's when you do the Gilgamesh hunt that you can actually get Genyoba for the first time and stuff like that. Because yeah, we're using of course Beeman's Bane over using the other thing. Does Bastion need to? No, he doesn't need to recast Libra now. Libra actually lasts quite a long time. Now I don't know if the treasure will respawn or if the treasure will always be good here. You know. Is this not the place I'm thinking about? Maybe we can know immediately if it's the place, if it's... Yeah, no, those are the three things. These are usually the things that can be really good, by the way. Hunting crossbow, 150 gil. That's a lot of damage actually. Okay, so we got another hunting crossbow. So what is that, the only class that gets that, by the way? If I check right here. Yeah. Damage for wheel crossbow. Because yeah, sure, this that I've gotten here, the burning bow is actually very powerful. That was part of a hunt as well. That's 77 damage. 70 damage from this. Now the crossbow. Alt-Hero calls as machinist here. For example, you can have Ras Algetial Debebran. And then you can have Spikantaurus, and then Arcturus Formal Halt, and then Mithuna, which I believe counts as an ultimate, maybe. But I thought that ultimates will only have one, so that cannot be an ultimate then. Because it should only have like a one, there should be one somewhere. That's just far from everything else, basically. Maybe it does have a number like that, although that seems odd. There will be like a number 7 like that, because that's not always how it is. Because if you go with, if you went over, for example, to Ash here, for example, Excalibur is something they're number 1, they're on Excalibur. So that Antonus Hall will probably be a number 1 or a number 2, maybe. Golgata is a thing though. Golgata is a ultimate one-hander, I believe. Okay, what did we say? 7th, okay. Alright, let's get this for 17. And that can get you another 70, which can put us up here with another 70, and yeah, okay. And that gives us all the way up to 22 with accessories there. The minus boosting over renewal. He can of course get hand bombs, but I forgot when hand bombs become available. Stuff that and exactly what hand bombs do. Can I check Traveler's Tips? Because we have on myself. Stand weapon swords, 100 swords, 200 swords, spears, crossbow rods. Stand weapon damage is mitigated by target's defense. So crossbow does get affected by defense. Piercing weapons are guns and meshes. Piercing weapon damage ignores target's defense. Fast weapons are daggers, ninja swords, and bows. Fast damage increases with character speed. Magic weapons are katanas, staves, maces. Magic weapon damage increases with character's magic power. Striking weapons with axes, hammers, hand bombs. Striking weapons damage is erratic, with some strikes doing little and some doing nothing. And the magic resist weapons poles. Magic resist weapon damage is mitigated by target's magic resist. So yeah. So that should actually mean that Monk can have higher magic resist than everyone else for some reason. Now the question I have though, how often do the treasure here respawn? But I'm guessing I'm not just going to be able to just go back inside again. Right. What do I mean this gets respawned immediately? Kinda, so you know, there's an ice shield as well. Because now basically when you get loot, and I don't know if it's because, you know, because of course, yes, we do have Sage's monograph which is superior from loot from elemental class and constructs. and stuff that. But yeah, no, I haven't figured out, of course, where to hand in Ring of the Toad yet, because you know he talked about like how he had a wife somewhere, and I don't know if it's supposed to be a hidden location or if it's meant to be back in Rabanastro or whatever, you know, or where the other people went, you know. Okay, so this is respawned. That's respawned. But there's no way they're gonna give me just like triple good treasure here again. I almost died. Okay, so Kuraga was a single heal there. But that almost healed me fully. 298 kill. 36 kill. Okay. So that's pretty good actually. Succulent fruit. I actually turned on lamp before because it was actually a lot darker outside before for a while because I thought that there was going to be really bad weather soon. Right, so we can go to... Yeah, we need to go back up right again because we actually need to go... around like that in order to reach the lower paths where the steel shrine is. I don't remember if... Yeah, we did try to go towards the Golmore Amulet first, I think. But yeah, because you actually want to grind these areas kinda because there are some good stuff here, of course. Okay, so he's casting Libra, so he's casting it immediately when it just ends. So that was actually very good. Meaning he could start, he could back basically cast it, he doesn't even need to be in combat to cast it. Well, that's a Beetle use. Beetle use. So yeah, Beetle use is not particularly good. Yeah, but then there are of course special ammunition, like for example you can have fairy arrows here, for example. You can also, for example, here use like long bolts, which are actually very good because it slows on hits and stuff that like not everything can be slowed, but like slowing a lot of targets, of course, if they're specifically physical attacker, then that's actually very good as an effect. Oh, parallel arrows. Oh, what? You are more attacked though, you're just better arrows straight up parallel, yeah. I forgot if we got those earlier, maybe we did. And of course I believe it's entirely possible to just do like a whole full ranged part in this and stuff like that, but yeah. But it's of course that if I would ever do a proper like let's play of this sort of challenge run, then there's a lot of interesting things we can do, of course. Yes, you could use stack the same class over and over, but it's a lot of interesting things you could do. Yes, you could do full party of spellcasters. It's something you definitely can do and stuff like that, but yeah. But then there are more interesting things than just having a, Yeah, there's the one that we can kill. This is weak to lightning. Once he's silenced, that's actually very bad. Actually, I want to prioritize here casting. moves. Yeah, right, and ignore her. I see trying to silence all the time. Yeah, see now it's immune to it all of a sudden. Like why? Let's see here. Oh, now she's no actually she getting silenced. There's actually very good. Let's just kiss. I'm gonna have to deactivate that of my heart. You just do this. Just go over to the side and do that. Basically. You can do that. Boom. So now she should just attack it, yeah. En Echo Herbs on. I have a lot of Echo Herbs. I can keep doing this if you want to. Okay. Gambits. Again. But you saw there that in action you saw it just becoming taking 0 damage from lightning. Oh. Right, multi needs 60 for that. Okay, Gorgon and up to using this. However, it does have a water thing, so it's not always going to be the best, but still. Because yeah, the elemental things can of course be a really, really good thing, but it can also be a really, really bad thing as well. So yeah. Okay. Weapons, that's sword. Red cap makes me think that it's supposed to be a Santa hat or something, you know. 2k damage, basically. A bangle, that's very common there actually. Sometimes, of course, you wanna save up a lot of lesson points sometimes before you spend, but sometimes you want to spend earlier. I thought there's one enemy or something. What is this? A sturdy bone. High potion. High potions give 50. So 2 explosions. Explosions are used. A very good healing idea. And I've talked to this before, by the way. You can wonder sometimes like, oh, how do they keep warm in this area and stuff like that, But it seems like actually for the Final Fantasy Tactics that they're gonna include stuff that was removed from the original game, but not like add stuff specifically from the World Alliance. But I can understand, right? But just because World Alliance had certain classes, like because, for example, like not having Dark Knight feels like really bad. But it would of course be really interesting if we could get the super OP classes. And I can understand that maybe there should be a warning, for example. But here's the thing: also nerfing certain characters makes very little sense because you might say that, oh, but this guest character is super OP, right? But the thing is that usually the guest characters you don't get to control yourself. Generally, the guest characters go and do whatever, right? And the guest character can actually absorb XP and stuff that would have been better to go to one of your like real characters, you know, rather than the guest character, you know. It is weak to darkness though, so she doesn't have darkness attacks, right? Does she get darkness attacks now? I don't think she does. I get like, this is time magic, yeah. But we don't get dark because the dark is actually what he gets as a red battle mage. Because red battle mage gets green magic. Right. Arcane magic, yeah. Death dark, yeah. Magic, yeah. So where's the first? Yeah, there. Darker. And then Dark Holga, of course. And he actually gets some pretty decent stuff here. He can still learn Kuraga and stuff that, and also get some time magic and stuff that, so yeah, you know. But Battle Mage is actually pretty good. Because yeah, I wouldn't agree with the whole video the way they did the worst classes, because I can understand that they want to limit so not just take from a single game and stuff that. But then there are certain things that are also feels like very weird, like why did they do this and stuff that, you know. Because yeah, saying that, for example, saying that the red mage or specifically red wizard is what they're actually after in Final Fantasy 1, but that's bad and stuff that. Sure, that is true, for example, that the red mage starts out pretty decent, but then of course with the red battle mage, or not red battle mage, but the red wizard, it gets like very bad, because it's not a particularly good class. Sure, but the thing is, like, even in Final Fantasy 1 you could still equip the Masamune on them because it had no class limit. And also the fact that yes, you could. Now in the original game you couldn't of course unlearn skills or black override skills. So once you've got the new spells, for example, on a specific slot. But the thing is, for example, you could even on red mages, I believe, you could still get those buffs. Some of those more powerful buff spells. Or at least some of the buff spells, at least, you know, and stuff that, you know. And the buff spells are of course important. But also good enemies. Emperor Raves. And they might look all tough, but they're not super tough. Due to the fact of us having Tandara. There's another elemental though. It's affected by a bunch of things, so let's actually spell it first. Like, we have a lot of echo herbs actually. I need to pay attention to when it's doing zero also as well. Okay, she got affected by that now. boss here, can you? Okay, it's immune now. Oh, she walks. I think that should probably be enough for... almost. Okay, that's getting on there. Right, and I can grab that also, the weapon age stuff there. So let's stand there, of course. Let's see here first. Right. Right, yeah, she doesn't have enough for that. Let's actually get instead. Let's get the portion of 1 boom. The Sword X Bear, Dragon Whisker, Vrashab, and at least the Sword X Bear. Because there's a lot of lore you can get. You can get Tundara here if you get the Shatterheart here. But yeah, sadly I don't think there is a jump command. So I'm not 100% certain because yeah. Unless maybe it's an accessory. That could very much be it. I'd get more battle here, boom. And then you can get the final battle over there. And let's take Headsman here so we can get more MP that way. Or Sleep Gambits we can pick up either. Very nice. I would like to go into the shrine already, but I want to make sure that we have gotten the shield at least on him and stuff like that, you know. That he gets his shield. Now, normally I would actually try and start hunting some more of these. Hopefully they aren't like, it isn't a time issue. But because I do remember for one of them they said there's something specific. So it's number 9 and it's, this one is rank 2. High Chief, okay. Sounds too passive, but sounds okay. Oh wow. Could have picked it up there, damn it. I'm pretty certain that there is a teleport place if we go into the temple area. So that I'm pretty certain there's an actual teleport over there. Anyway, I hope you all enjoy this, and I see you all in part 2.